Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol, now would be the time to play it.
Anyone? All right.
Anyone? All right, first vote, Chris.
Wait, no.
Second vote, Chris.
No.
Third vote, Chris.
I have 3 idols in my pocket. I just screwed myself.
Chris, the tribe has spoken.
No. Oh man, the first person to go home with 3 idols in his pocket plus 2 extra votes, and
oh god, why do you have so many?
And a pass to Final Five, no matter what happens in general.
Why
I was supposed to hand it in, and it would have gone into effect, and I just didn't do it.
Sometimes.
Go ahead.
You just forget to play an advantage?
Yeah.
Thinking it was just forgotten that they have to play an advantage?
Yeah. It happens more than you think. Find out more. Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys. As you can tell, we are deep into the Survivor season. It's very good. It's good. I obviously, there's some, we're worried about twists and turns that might occur, but generally I'm enjoying the cast this season for sure.
I love this cast. I'm having a good time with them.
Yeah. We of course are also past the Thanksgiving weekend of our football season, which would usually like to be like a bigger deal because that would mean that there's not many weeks left, and that's still the case, but with this like 18th week of scheduling, it feels like so much still has to happen, and there's also like 2 more weeks of buys, so it's like it all just feels like we're just in this weird state of like, all right, well, Thanksgiving's no longer feels as important as it used to be. We're not gonna feel like we know how the rest of this season's gonna work out until maybe the week before Christmas, and maybe that's even the stretch. But a very interesting week of games, and we're gonna start first we're gonna do our recap, and then we're going to it's a holiday season. A lot of people are buying things and selling things. So we're going to do some buy or sell on some NFL storylines. And of course, then we're going to do our Week 13 Pickaroonies. Now, for a recap. Our game of the week. Not like nothing memorable, but Buccaneers at Colts is what I ended up going with from
That's a fun game.
It was
It was good.
Yeah, the Colts had the lead for a good chunk of it. They or at least they were the ones that seemed like they were coming to like really show things off. Their defense was playing very well, but they weren't quite running the ball a lot, and it was because the Buccaneers have a very good rush defense. But it ended up leading to the Buccaneers kind of getting back in it with their own running back in Leonard Fournette, who just completely started demolishing and wiping the floor with the Colts defense, and the secondary for the Bucs, who generally has not played like amazing this year. It's more been their front seven that's done a lot of the work for that defense, but their secondary did make a few plays that ultimately stopped the Colts from being able to come back, and Tom Brady and the Bucs got the victory, even though it was a very close call. You and I, Matt, we picked the Colts to win this game, but unfortunately it did not go the way we picked.
Yeah.
Happens.
Shame. It happens.
The blowout of the week. I think this is where the intrigue really does come in. Steelers at Bengals. It was a walloping of the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, all these Bengals stars. They're just coming in and they just ran all over the Steelers. They were up 35 points, I think, at halftime. Like, it was an insane demolishing of the Steelers team that we always kind of felt was this pretender team. But Matt, this is now it's they're definitely showing the colors that we kind of are expecting here for the Steelers.
Yeah, a good defense can only take you so far.
And they're not even playing that good.
No, and they're not. And I really like how the Bengals are like they kind of had a bit of a dip, but I think that they're definitely like coming back to show how in control they can actually be.
Yeah. No, yeah. I always felt like it was weird that they insisted on I understand wanting to keep Big Ben as your starter, but the idea that they did not come up with a decent backup plan in case his struggles were going to, really start to affect them, which they are. But but also generally, like, the offensive line's not doing a good job at protecting Big Ben. The defense, as we said before, is just not playing at the caliber that they were, especially 2 years ago when they had the backup quarterbacks and were still on the cusp of making the playoffs. Last year around this time, they were just finishing up their like 11-0 run, where it felt like, no one could stop this team, and then they completely collapsed. And it feels like they just, even though they've still won some games here and there, I mean, they started the season with that big win against the Bills, it feels like they're still reeling from that collapse and still have not been able to completely bounce back from that. And it's bizarre. It's just a bizarre situation. But the Bengals are like, I'm in love with this team. I feel like they're so good. They're so much fun. I didn't know a team that would be coached by some random dude named Zach Taylor would be actually interesting to watch, but it's working. It's working for me.
Yeah, big fan.
And then the chaos of the week. I ended up picking. I was surprised that we didn't go with the Cowboys game a few weeks ago, but I remember the Jaguars beat the Bills that same week. But today, the Cowboys get to have the honor of being added to the chaos list, where the Raiders came into their building on Thanksgiving and beat them. I tuned in for bits and pieces of this thing. Didn't get a chance to watch a ton of it just because of Thanksgiving and a lot of the different festivities going on, but it definitely seemed that the Raiders, even though the Raiders could not stop Dak Prescott, it seemed like the defense for the Cowboys, that has been playing relatively well, just could not get the job done against this Raiders team that we thought were just going to finally like fall apart, but they're still alive and well in the playoff conversation.
Yeah, and this raises a couple Cowboys alarm bells. Not too many, because we knew that they would be without a lot of their players at full strength. So
yeah,
and some they just didn't have it all. So getting CD back, hopefully getting Amari back soon, should be better for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
But it still wasn't pretty.
No, not at all. I also want to note that at one point near the end of the game, my family, we all kind of collected on the couch, and they let me keep the game on temporarily. And Kelsey, who does not watch any football, was just watching, and she comments on things. I enjoy when my family just comments on things even though they don't know what's going on. It makes them feel part of the experience, and I appreciate that. That Kelsey all of a sudden looked at the number 2 of the Raiders and pointed at him and be like, he's gonna do something that wins the game. And that number 2 for the Raiders is Daniel Carlson, who kicked the game-winning field goal for the Raiders. So tip my hat to Kelsey. You nailed it. You nailed it. You predicted it correctly, and you did a better job predicting this game than I did. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So it was an all right Thanksgiving in terms of the games. I didn't watch any of the Bills Saints game, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. It just seemed like the Bills just demolished the Saints. Yeah. But the Bears Lions game, Matt. I need to know what your temperature check was, because it was a little nerve wracking a bit with what was happening.
It was mainly just like I almost felt like a sense of apathy as I was watching it. I wasn't even like super invested in whether or not the Bears won. I was just like, man, this football game sucks. I think about a tweet that Tom Fornelli makes all the time, which is every time the Bears are in prime time, everyone's like, man, this is the worst football game I've ever seen. And Tom Fornelli goes, this is every Bears game I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it's correct.
It's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
But
I was at the end of it, I was like, oh, they did it.
They actually pulled it off, though.
Yeah.
It's all good. That is the one team that I was just like, oh man, if the Lions are going to do it, they might do it against the Bears. But luckily, you're past it. You beat the Lions both times. You don't have to worry about losing to the Lions anymore. Like that is something that is out of the way. You don't if the Lions are going to get one win this year, it will not be against the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
That's the good things.
The Bears just destroy the Lions.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Yeah.
In recent years.
Well, on Thanksgiving, the tide turns, but I feel like on any other day, the Bears. Yes, I agree. So I'm glad that it went the Bears' way this time with your franchise quarterback Andy Dalton at the helm.
Don't.
So that is your week 12 recap. Yeah, it was. I found the Monday Night Football game to be interesting too. With Washington, it seems like everyone's kind of starting to realize the Seahawks as we know them are done.
Yeah, the only thing that's been keeping the Seahawks afloat even the past couple of years has been Russ's play, and when he doesn't play. Or when he doesn't play to his full ability, which has been the case the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be surprised if, and I feel like this is actually pretty likely, that Pete Carroll's done after this year, and Russ is starting for another team.
Yeah. No.
And he's in blue and black.
Right.
Manifesting it early.
Yeah. You gotta start. You gotta start getting it going. I think that is what's gonna unfold. I think it's one of those things where I think Pete Carroll's done. I think even the general manager is done too, because I think that the personnel moves, the drafts, none of them are really working the way that they should, and it might be time for a change at the top of leadership there. But in terms of Russell, it might be that a coaching change or just a leadership change in general could sway Russell Wilson back if he's not like vibing with Pete Carroll. But I also think that he's a big enough star where he can do what Tom Brady did, where he's just like, I gave my time to this franchise. Obviously not the level Tom Brady did, but just you know, like I played nearly a decade for the Seahawks. It's time for something new, time to refresh myself and go to a team that is in blue in New Jersey. That is, you know,
oh god,
you get the big city lights there, you know what I mean? You and I we're just gonna be like battling it out
the entire fucking time.
The entire offseason is just gonna be you and I just being like,
yeah,
come to our team.
You can have the cheese, man.
Oh Jesus, no! Well, here's the thing. Like, it would be the point where the first time that I am in the state of hating Aaron Rodgers, that he comes to the Giants. It would work that way. It would fucking work that way. God damn it! All right. We are moving forward. We, like I said, it's the holiday season. Everyone's in stores. All right, everyone is you know going to the Targets. because that's where
multiple
everyone gets
targets. Because the thing you were trying to find at the first one was out, so you got to go to the other one, like 15 minutes up the road.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, and you know what they're selling at those targets in the NFL targets are these storylines, these ideas of what the season is in their current state. All right, and I am. There's gonna be some things that I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. I'm gonna buy it, and there's some that I'm just like, no, you know what? I don't want this. This is bad. I own this storyline, and I want to sell it. You know, this is just
okay.
not into it. All right, so not necessarily that you own it, but like it's just like you want anything to do with the storyline that people are kind of talking about right now. So Matt, what's a storyline that you're buying into right now?
All right, I've got one negative one and one positive one.
Sure.
The Lions are not going to win this season.
You're into it.
I am planting my flag. I do not think that the Detroit Lions will win a football game this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm with you. It's bizarre. It's tough though, because the weirdness of this year, like, it would be very Lions-esque for them not to win a game, even with all the weirdness. But I don't know.
But
it's hard for me.
They got their tie. That's the weirdness.
Yeah, I mean their schedule for the rest of the year right now. Home for the Vikings, at the Broncos, home for the Cardinals, at the Falcons, at the Seahawks, home for the Packers. I mean,
Seahawks?
Yeah, Seahawks I feel like could happen. I could see the Falcons, maybe. I don't know, if the Broncos keep falling apart on offense, maybe. But their defense is kind of too good.
And didn't they just beat LA?
They beat the Chargers.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, but weird shit happens because then you have the Bengals who beat up. You have the Bengals that beat up on the Ravens and then lose to the Jets the next week. So it's just you got weird stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, so that's I don't know if I'm buying or selling. I'm kind of want to just avoid it altogether because I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay.
This is a weird thing.
I'll buy it.
I am buying. As these are two things I kind of already mentioned in the podcast, but I am buying the Bengals completely. I am in on this Bengals team. This is like, I did not expect this team to have turned it around this year. I did not think that they necessarily like improved their roster a ton, and like last year just they were still kind of in like the lower parts of the league where it was like, all right, well, like are we really gonna see this big change? But Joe Burrow makes a difference. Joe Mixon makes a difference. That I mean, certainly their receivers are still playing really well. Their defense has some good playmakers on it as well. You know, they are definitely going to be a tough team to get rid of. I think that they're gonna keep on playing close with a lot of the NFL. I think across the board, I think the Bengals are going to be able to still like compete with anyone, and do well. So yeah. I'm all in on this Bengals team. Do you have another buy?
Yeah, and actually that buy actually ties into my other buy, and it's the AFC North changing of the guard. Not just the Bengals are legit, but the Steelers suck ass. Yeah. And it really is moving on from the Steelers' domination of this division, and it that's been the case for the past couple years with the Ravens. But the Bengals are the team right now, I think, in this division, and it's really, I think, going to show in the last stretch. Just these kiddies came to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I think the Bengals have swept the Steelers since like the 70s, 80s. Like it's been a long time since they actually were able to pull it off. Yeah, and you know, there is, it does like feel like there is. I mean, the Ravens are still there, and so they've been at the top of this division for a few games or a few seasons now. But I feel like there is something that's going to start to happen within the Steelers organization maybe that I don't think that they're gonna say like, all right, Tomlin, you're going. Like they're an organization that tends to hold on to their head coaches no matter what, and this would be Tomlin's like first losing season in his well over a decade career there. So it's like it's not like they're gonna just all of a sudden be like, oh, it's time to just change everything and flip things upside down. But they're on the brink of a quarterback change, and they're going to have to be in the mix with everyone else to try to find their next franchise quarterback, because right now I don't think their future quarterback is on their roster. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We're really tying in the storylines we already touched on from the early segment, but I am also buying into the end of the Pete Carroll era. I think this is over. I don't think that he continues after this year. I think that he certainly made the Seahawks more interesting than before he was there. But I think that there's just been too many seasons where it feels like the defense is not performing at the levels that they used to in like the early 2010s. Their offense is, even with the talent that's on there, is just completely just flatlines unnecessarily, and it kind of showed near the end of last year, and it's been showing basically throughout this year, even before Russell got injured. Like it has been just, and it's very clear that like I don't think that this is something that's going to just change overnight. I don't think that you're going to see this team go on a run to go undefeated the rest of the way. Could they? Sure, weird things happen, but there's no evidence of that's gonna happen. They're the second worst team in the NFC behind only the Lions, and so I think the Seahawks are going to be looking for some change, especially with maybe with ownership being murky. Maybe they just keep it all the same, but I think that this should spell the end of this. What's the storyline you're selling? What are you not into?
So, this is a storyline that I bought early in the season, but kind of disagree with a bit now, and that's the Rams super team. We've kind of seen that like this team that should be amazing at like every point just isn't. Whether it's like, oh, they got Odell, they got Von Miller, they got fucking Stafford for all this. I think that those are all things that improve their team, but the Rams clearly have not been unstoppable like you would kind of expect them to, or like the narrative is. And I think it's like it's really starting to show that they are not like this juggernaut team. I still think they're great and they could still make a run, but sometimes when you bring in people who are towards the end of their careers, still good, like Stafford and Miller, and maybe people like Odell who are question marks.
Sure.
Doesn't always lead to success.
Yeah, this actually ties into one of my selling points, which I agree with everything that you're saying. But I'm gonna sell the idea that the Rams can't turn things around here.
Okay.
I totally get where people are coming from, and I think that the super team storyline that was early in November when they got Von Miller, when they got Odell, like when that storyline was really like prevalent, it was like, okay, this team is going to just dominate everything, and that's what it felt like. But but it seems like after like this losing streak, which is a bad look for the Rams, and things are not looking great right now. It seems like there's people who are trying to jump off in droves and start to be like, oh, the Rams are people saying like the Rams are weak, and like they're not like that. These are a Ram team that can't like stand up to the pressure of what they are, and there's just some weird toxic takes out there that I'm like, all right, let's pump the brakes. I understand that it has been a bad look for this Rams team, but they're coming off of playing a Titans team that had earlier in the year that was had a very good defense. They're coming off of playing a 49ers team that's currently on a run on their own, and they're coming off of playing the Packers, who are a NFC contender. It's looking bad right now. I would be curious this week when they're playing the Jaguars how they look, because I think that this has just been a really rough stretch for them for their schedule, and I think that they can turn things around. I still think they can be a Super Bowl contender, but I totally understand the notion of they need to prove themselves. They need to actually like get some wins under their belt to be like, all right, we can be a contender right now, because right now they're falling out of division poll, and if they really begin to flatline, they're going to be out of the playoffs altogether. But honestly, with how poor the NFC is, they really shouldn't fall out of the playoffs. But
right,
we'll see. Do you have one last selling point?
Yeah, and this isn't with teams themselves. It's more with, I guess, fan perception, and that's that perception that, like, with how bad the NFC teams are, that the playoffs are going to be uncompetitive because they added the 7th team.
Yeah.
I really think that this that the 7th team, I was against it at first, mostly because, and this is a dumb reason, but mostly because it worked out mathematically so well with 6 teams. Yes,
but the seven's the number now, you know.
Yeah, 7's the number now.
17 games, 7 playoff teams, you know.
It's just what it is. So, it's it'll be cool. I think that the overall it will allow a lot more games to be competitive for a lot longer and for a lot more teams who are trying to compete for the 7th spot. Even if it's a first one out, like, oh, who gets to lose to the Cardinals this time? Like, it's like it will be good in the long run.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's the situation of like any given playoff, any given seed. Like, I think that if you had every single team in the NFL go into the playoffs, I feel like you will have a year. I'm not saying it would be this year, but there would be a year where you get an NCAA tournament style where the 16th seed knocks out the first seed. You know, like I feel like everyone's like worried about like this. Oh man, the 7th seed is gonna, is just gonna taint the playoffs, not gonna make it more interesting. Well, mediocre teams can play fun games. Bad teams can play fun games. Like, you're gonna still be entertained, and you are gonna still watch because you're a football fan. Like, I think, I'm with you. I think it's people feeling like it's gonna just lead to this. Oh man, we're everyone's gonna have a participation trophy. It's like this. It's just a weird idea that people want to run with. The bullshit ideas that people, that like more teams can't like participate in the playoffs because they need to earn their spot. And yes, they do, but it's only one extra team. Like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Everything's gonna be fine. And I think the 7th seed is gonna be especially useful this year for an AFC that is so tight and so competitive and has a lot of good teams in it. Whereas I can totally see where people are gonna be like, all right, well, you're gonna have a throwaway team in the 7th seed for the NFC, but again, weird shit has happened. You never know who's gonna end up landing there.
It was a good game between Washington and Tampa last year.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was a 7th seed.
It wasn't. The Bears were the 7th seed. That was not a good game, but my point stands.
No, yes. Playoff games can be fun with a losing record team. Like, that's not impossible. I will sell my last sell. The Dolphins rise. I look. You're 4 games in. Good for you. Four game win streak, and you're probably gonna go 5-6 winning streak. You're looking good right now, Dolphins. I totally respect your defense, and Tua's playing pretty well right now, but I just think that you're going to get crushed at the end of this year when you have a Titans team that hopefully will have time to adjust and get better, and a Patriots team that is out for blood to kill everyone in their sights after doubting them all year. And I feel like you're going to end up even though you're frisky right now, you're fun right now, I don't think you're going to make it, you know? I'm getting worried, Matt, honestly. I feel like we right now in the playoff picture is both the 49ers and the Washington football team, both teams we killed off.
Buried.
Yeah, that we buried, and now the Dolphins are here, and they're gonna try to, like, I want to put a stop to it. I'm gonna say, look, the Dolphins, I love your color scheme. I love I love the idea of your team.
I love the idea of a dolphin.
Yeah, yeah. Even though Gabe thinks you're murderers, I kind of like the I think you're a cool mascot, but you had your chance last year, and you also had your chance earlier this year, and you sucked ass. And and your wins are also against Jets, Texans, and maybe your future wins are going to be against the Giants and the Jets again and the Saints. Like, it's like, your one impressive win was the Ravens, which is impressive. But that was also on a Thursday night, all right? Weird things happen on Thursday nights. Just saying. Prove yourself, Dolphins. Beat the Patriots week 17, all right? How about that? Before we move on to our picks, let me tell you about our sponsors. It has been 2 years since we started Team Chaos Productions, and we would not be where we are today without the help of Anchor. You've heard us talk about it all the time, but let me remind you, this completely free platform gives creators the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or phone. Once done, Anchor will distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, so you don't have to. You can also make some money on the episodes with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcasting platform, so download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting.
Hi, my name is Matthew J. Walsh, the host of the Over Heaven podcast, a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast where we'll be looking at each episode of the newest animated Part 6, Stone Ocean. We'll have a variety of guests, from JoJo fans like myself to people who have absolutely no idea what's happening at all. Join us every Friday as we fill the void of JoJo Fridays and celebrate what makes this series great. Knowing what's going on is not mandatory to the listening experience, but might be recommended for a good laugh. Catch us on Twitter at OverHeavenPod or as part of the podcasting group Team Chaos Productions.
And we're back.
Hello.
It is time to do our Week 13 picks. Last week, Matt, you and I, we went 7-8. It's not great. I got my guarantee, but I didn't get my chaos. You didn't get either.
I didn't get either.
That's okay. As it stands now, 106-73 is your record, and you have 30 points. I am at 103-76.
31.
Maybe I did math wrong. Hold on. We're gonna do math.
Because I had 33 points last week, and I lost 2 points this week.
Right. Yes, you're correct. I am mistaken. Maybe then, hold on, I need to make sure that my math is correct then for my other score, because I'm sitting at 173, or 173, Jesus, 103-76.
Okay.
And then, yes, I guess I missed a point for both of us. So you're at 31 points. I'm at 23 points. I initially had it written down that it was 30-22. Thank you for holding me accountable there. All right, so that's where it's at. All right, I am still down 8 points, but I'm only behind 3 games, so we're still close here. We're still tight. Anything can happen here. Matt, tell us about our first game here.
Thursday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys hopefully getting some help back, take on the New Orleans Saints, who got embarrassed in Thanksgiving primetime. Who's going to win the football game?
So we know that Mike McCarthy's going to be on the COVID list.
Yes.
Do you know who the interim head coach is?
Is it fucking Dan Quinn?
No.
Who is it?
Ben McAdoo, motherfuckers!
Oh my god!
He back with the star on his helmet, or I guess on his
hat.
chest. Yeah, hat, whatever. I'm still going with the Cowboys. I mean, look, is Mike McCarthy really a game changer? Nah. I think you got you're getting some other players back at the very least. I think that they should be in good shape. And the Saints, I mean, you're getting your running backs back. And you're starting Taysom Hill. Maybe that might refresh things, but this losing streak has been brutal for the Saints team, and I just don't have much confidence in them that they're gonna do anything. So I'm going Cowboys.
I didn't have a better chaos, so I'm gonna go Saints.
All right, cool.
The running backs back will help.
Yeah.
I think Taysom Hill starting gonna be a big boon, and just Cowboys dealing with their own shit as well. Just could be the thing. Could be the thing that tilts it.
I totally see it. I totally see it happening. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Bucks coming off that win against the Colts. Falcons did something on... Oh, yeah, they beat the Jaguars after I team cast the Jaguars. God damn it. What do you think's going to happen?
I think the Buccaneers will be just fine in this game.
Yeah, they should be. I'm going to pick them.
Same. Arizona Cardinals take on the Chicago Bears. Matt Nagy talked about this being a get-right game so that they could win 2 games in a row.
Sure, Nagy. Sure.
Yeah, sure. But sure. Do we even need to talk about this one?
No.
No.
That is...
Kyler will probably be back as well.
I need to also... I just want to, talk about real quick, though. He's calling the Arizona Cardinals a 9-2 football team that's getting back their quarterback and best receiver this week. A get-right game.
Okay, he didn't say get right. He said, okay, we have to try to win 2 in a row.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's very much... There's a difference there.
Yeah, I interpreted it as get right.
That would be hilarious.
That was the spirit behind his words.
Yes.
Is what it felt like.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would be like if these two teams remind me of that. I'm gonna forget his name. He's a really big time head coach. The one that did the I know who they are, who we thought they were. That whole press conference. It reminds me of that because it was the Cardinals versus the Bears.
Gotcha.
And the Cardinals won. Or the Bears won, and he was the Cardinals coach at the time. I'm gonna have to. I'll look up his name. I'll find it.
I do not remember.
But yeah, no, Cardinals. Los Angeles Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Frisky game, a game that I would think would have been flexed into primetime, but they decided to go with AFC West rivalry. I guess another AFC West rivalry, but the Chargers coming off their loss to the Broncos, Bengals coming off that beat down of the Steelers. Who do you have winning this game?
We got to ride this shit, Chris. I'm guaranteeing the Bengals.
Oh, very nice. I wanted to guarantee them, but I'm also trying to do the same thing you do with the guarantees, where I'm trying to do a different team every week. So I'm not doing it. I was almost there though. I'm also picking the Bengals.
All right. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings take on the Detroit Lions. Lions have yet to have a win. Vikings coming off of their loss against San Francisco. Do the Vikings have any gas against the Lions?
Yes. Also, real quick, Dennis Green was the name of the coach.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's one of the best press conferences of all time in the NFL. They are what we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Just perfect. I'm gonna absolutely pick the Vikings here. Could it get weird? Vikings play close games, and maybe this is maybe Dan. I was gonna say Dan Quinn. What's his fucking name? Dan Campbell. Maybe Dan Campbell learns from his first meeting with this team. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm going Vikings.
All right. I'm going Vikings as well. I think I already said that. No, I didn't. But I am going Vikings. It is strange. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, oh, Kirk Cousins has to essentially play perfect for the Vikings to stand a chance at winning. When he doesn't play perfect or near perfect, they absolutely suck.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot that they lost to the Niners. It's so bizarre. Like they beat the Packers, a team they should beat, or they shouldn't beat necessarily, and they did. And then the 49ers, even though the 49ers are hot right now, I mean, come on. Like,
yeah.
You think the Vikings would have built on that momentum, but this is the 2021 Vikings. Next up, the New York Giants going to Miami to face the Dolphins. Both teams are coming off of wins. Giants beat the Eagles. Dolphins got a fourth straight win against who did they play? I'm gonna forget. Oh, Panthers. They played the Panthers. Yep. Who do you think's gonna win this?
I think that, so I don't think they're going to have a stroll into the postseason, kind of as you were saying earlier, but I do think that their defense is still pretty legit, and they've been doing better as of late, and I think they'll beat the Giants in this matchup.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You know, I sat here, and I was just like, you know, Dolphins, fuck you. You're not making the postseason. But you know what team I hate a little bit more right now than the Miami Dolphins? It's my team, the New York Giants. I kind of hate them right now. So I'm going to guarantee the Miami Dolphins are going to win this game.
Hell yeah.
And I think I'm with you. I think the defense is playing well enough. Also, Mike Glennon might play on against the Giants. So, beautiful. Love it.
Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Jets. Jets able to beat the Texans. Eagles unable to beat the Giants. Will Philly have a better time against the other New York team?
I believe Philadelphia should win this game. I mean, like, and so Jalen Hurts said today that he is playing. Obviously that's not actually like a formal announcement that he is playing. He is dealing with an injury. But I would think that means I think that he will be in the game. I think the Giants are just a weird. That rivalry is just weird. They have some weird back and forth sometimes, and it doesn't really make much sense. I think that the Eagles will take care of this Jets team, even though the Jets are coming off a win. This is a weird one. I'll go Eagles, though.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Eagles for this.
Yeah. Next up, Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Colts lost to the Buccaneers in close fashion. Texans lost to the Jets, I believe, in close fashion as well. Who you got for this one?
I think Jonathan Taylor will have a very nice game today. And do you want to hear something? Really weird?
Yes.
T.Y. Hilton, who usually is like not that much of a factor for this team anymore, he has a fucking monster game whenever he plays Houston and no other time. So I think that will happen again today and get Indy the win.
There you go. I'm going with the Colts. I have zero faith in this Texans team because I thought, like, all right, they beat the Titans. Maybe they build momentum and beat the Jets as well. No, that's not how this fucking team works. They never function properly or normally. Oh my god. Matt, I just fucking... Okay. Real quick, some context for y'all. I live in a neighborhood where I'm right next to the town hall, and every year, at some point during the holiday season, Santa comes strolling by on a fire truck with the sirens blaring.
That's what's been going on.
I think that it's about to drive down my fucking street. So, I hope that's not the case, and I hope we can get through these picks, but this is a realization that is just hitting me now, that, oh my god, they're gonna fucking do this, aren't they, during the recording. But yes, I'm going Colts. Did you pick the Colts already?
I did.
Okay, who did the intro for that? I just completely lost my train of thought.
I think you did, so I'm gonna go next.
You go next.
Yep. All right. Washington football team taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. It feels like these two teams have played already this year, but that's not how scheduling works. So I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking about. Who's gonna win the game?
This is like weird to me. This has weirdness written all over it. I feel like both of these teams, I'm like, what the fuck are you? I don't know what's happening. I feel like the defense for the Washington football team should take care of this Raiders team, but I also think the Raiders are they win at the weirdest times. I feel like this is a game where I'm just gonna pick the home team and just cross my fingers it works, but I'm not at all confident about it.
All right, I'm also gonna pick the Raiders. I'm a little more confident than you.
Okay,
but I'm still gonna. I still think they'll get the win.
Yeah, Washington's on a 3-game winning streak. That's the only thing that's like really like iffy about it. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars at Los Angeles Rams. Rams are, yes, they are reeling a bit right now. They are on a 3-game losing streak. They have this Jaguars team now presented to them on a silver platter. Do they break through here?
I hope they do. I think they'll be fine. They might be missing like Darrell Henderson, but Sonny Michel will be fine. I think the Rams will be fine for this matchup.
Yeah, I think so too. It does make me a bit nervous. Because like, what if it is all true? What if this OBJ curse is true, and it just every team he goes to now is just losing constantly, no matter what? God. But I'm going Rams.
All right. Baltimore Ravens take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens somehow winning against the Browns. Somehow finding a way. Take on the Steelers, who got just floored by the Bengals.
Yeah, what an ugly game to win on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. It's not a pick. I'm like, I feel like the Steelers should lose this game. But this rivalry is always like a throw out the records type thing where anything could happen. And with how poorly that offense was for the Ravens, I'm like, oh god, they're playing with fire. I'm gonna go with the Ravens though.
Yeah, I'm also sticking with the Ravens. I think that Lamar will fix himself. That seemed like such a fluke.
Yeah. San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. We have might be Pete Carroll's final game coaching against the Niners. You have the 49ers who are on currently on a win streak after beating the Rams. They beat the Washington football team, and then the Jaguars, excuse me. And then they beat last week. Who did they beat last week? Was it the
Vikings?
Vikings. Yep. The 49ers are just a blur to me. So they're doing well. Will the Seahawks stop them?
I don't think so. I think that the 49ers have pretty much figured things out. Not having Debo is going to be a pain because Debo is their best player.
Yeah,
but they'll figure it out.
I am going to go with the Seahawks. Team Chaos.
Ooh, all right. Okay.
This is again. I went on a rant saying this is the end of the Pete Carroll era. Who knows if they can turn things around? But Pete Carroll has a good record against the 49ers, and it's I feel like the NFC West, that no matter what happens, the constants seem to be that Kyle Shanahan beats Sean McVay, who beats Pete Carroll, and I think Pete Carroll beats Kyle Shanahan again. And so I think the Seahawks sweep the 49ers, but I think this might be their last win for the year. Maybe barring the Lions.
Maybe. We'll see. All right, Sunday night, Denver Broncos take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs on a roll again, coming off their bye. Broncos coming off their win against the Chargers. They have a winning record. Will they win again?
I think the Chiefs should win this game. The defense has been playing well for the Broncos, but the offense is falling apart, and it's just not hitting what it could be, even with all the talent that is on that offense. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.
There you go. And the big matchup of the week on Monday Night Football, New England Patriots at Buffalo Bills. This is the first matchup between these two teams all season long and will go a long way to determine who is going to reign supreme in the AFC East. Who do you think is going to win here?
My mind says the Patriots. But I really want to believe in a Bills resurgence. And being in Buffalo, I'm gonna go with the Bills. This is not a firm decision though. It's more just like I want the Bills to win this. I'm gonna pick them.
Yeah, no, I got you. I am going to go with the Patriots because they're back on their bullshit. You know, they're just back on their bullshit. And I definitely feel like the Bills have a shot here. I feel like they're getting their passing game going, but and also the Patriots might be down their one of their starting safeties who has like 80 tackles this year. I forget his name. It's one of their newer players. But I still think that the Patriots, with how tough their front seven has been playing, with how smooth the Mac Jones has been playing overall, I think that they take care of business, but I don't know. It is a tough one, but I'm going Patriots.
Yep.
All right. So that means 3 disagreements. Then.
Yep, our chaoses and then one more.
I believe we just had it.
Yep.
Where? Wait a second. Hold on.
So the Patriots Bills we disagreed on.
Oh yeah,
and then our chaoses we disagreed on.
Yeah, no, I'm like, okay, yeah. See, my mind's not here today. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
All right, yes. So the Cowboys Saints game we disagreed. It was the Seahawks 49ers, and it was the Patriots Bills. We will see how all those play out. So yeah, we 3 has just been the magic number this year with us with our picks. It's just it is with full stop does not change. But I'm down for it. It's okay. All right, and that, folks, is going to do it. We may have a VBFL this week. We don't know for sure. Things are a little hectic this week. Things are kind of life has taken into effect a bit. Not nothing bad. Just things are going on in life where we might not be able to do it this week. Definitely not next week. If we do end up delaying it, it will probably be the next VBFL might not be until like the weekend before Christmas. So we'll let you know though. We'll probably by Friday we'll have a good idea. We'll post on Twitter to tell you whether or not we'll have a VBFL. Also, later this week, the Over Heaven podcast is going to be premiering this, and it will be the first episode will be Walsh and me, a dude who has not, I don't think, watched any anime since Pokemon.
Okay, that's very fun.
When I was like 5,
yeah,
maybe. And someone that just doesn't watch a lot of TV and all. So it will be interesting when I'll be probably either watching later tonight or early tomorrow. We're recording it tomorrow, so exciting stuff. I made sure, at least I'm hoping that I am advertising it in the middle of the podcast, so you probably heard a little bit about what it's about. But just again, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The part 6 is out, and we're going to be talking about it. Wash, the big super fan who loves all the parts to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and the rest of us who will be joining him, who I don't think any of us are JoJo fans.
You know that meme where it's The Incredibles, Edna and Mrs. Incredible?
Yes. Yeah.
Where Edna's like got a wide smile on her face and Helen is terrified.
Yes. Yeah.
That will be us, all of us, throughout this podcast.
Throughout the duration of the podcast. It's gonna be great. It'll be great. It'll be a good time. But yeah, thank you all.
Holy shit! Hold on. Wait.
Do we got news?
No, we got something stupid. I got to check this out, make sure it's legit.
Okay. I guess I'll vamp for a second.
SpaceX is going bankrupt. Fuck you, Elon Musk.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, yeah. Fuck you, Elon Musk. I just watched. You know what's funny? I'll end the podcast after this. But I was just today watching a clip of the Game Awards 2019, and it was when Elon Musk was still dating Grimes, and it was so weird. It was him. Grimes did some sort of performance for the Game Awards for Cyberpunk 2077, which is hilarious in retrospect because that was a year before Cyberpunk came out and no one knew. And then after the performance, they cut to him and he's just kind of like somewhat sat down. He's kind of like staring, but then he realized the camera was on him. They cut away for a second and they cut back to him, and he like stood up and started clapping. And it was just like, oh, that is perfect representation of the richest man in the world.
Yes. A fucking chode.
What a fucking toothpaste eater. All right, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.